What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Depeche Mode. And we're going back to the 2023 album Memento Mori. We are up to the penultimate tune. I did want to mention, I didn't look closely at first, but this is the LA city skyline, so apparently they took that picture in LA. Nevertheless, the penultimate tune is Never Let Me Go. My brain immediately thinks of Never Let Me Down Again. It's not the same sentiment by any means, but the Never Let Me, it's hard not to think of one of their classic tracks from Music for the Masses. But yeah, Never Let Me Go, it sounds committed and intensely, what's the right word, inclined to stay connected to this other person. Now, again, that may not necessarily be in a good relationship. There are people who cling to relationships in which they're actually, not receiving the same amount of emotion or love or even care that they're putting into the relationship, and yet they may feel more desperate to hang on to it than the other person who's receiving more than they probably deserve, or at least more than they're providing in return. So, Never Let Me Go, it may not be so simple as we have a great thing and let's just ride this out no matter what happens. It could be more complicated, and given Depeche Mode, I would expect it to be. So let's find out. This is Never Let Me Go by Depeche Mode on the 2023 album Memento Mori. That ascendant consonant melody, awash in dissonant sonics though. Like an oldie-timey feel to the vocals. Also feels like... Oh wait, because it's a longer point. I love the verses. catch everything there, but it does sound a bit like It's No Good, where he's convinced it's like this perfect match, but you know, you've been running away from me, and you know how, like, can't you see, like, this should be something. So yeah, it felt asymmetrical, and it felt like he was getting more and more frustrated. And I did enjoy the idea that, like, you know, I'm not losing my cool. I forget exactly what the line was, but he was like shouting it, and it's like, I'm not getting angry or something like that. And it's like, you know, the delivery belied the content of the line. So I enjoyed that. It made me think of that line from Old School where Will Ferrell's like freaking out, and he's like, we gotta keep our composure. Nevertheless, the point I was going to make, I really enjoyed the way the tune was getting, along with his vocals, a bit louder and like more angry and like powerful. And then it switched into that part with the oldie-timey vocals, which I didn't dislike. I enjoyed the way those vocals sounded, and it sort of changed the feeling of the tune for a moment. But it made me think, there was a tune, one of the tunes earlier in this album, I'm forgetting in the moment which one it was, but it like switched into this like alternative scheme about 2/3 into the track, and a number of people said like that part wasn't their favorite, and it made me think of the infamous the train is coming part and Where's the Revolution. Now I stand by that tune. I think it's a cool tune, but I do notice that a number of people have sort of keyed in on that part. One friend and champion of the channel more than any other, but it occurred to me that in recent years, you know, the last half decade or more, it does seem Depeche Mode will like to do that. Now, I'm sure you could go back and find tracks from the 80s and 90s where they really shift things up for like one measure and then kind of go back to the normal like configuration of the tune. But yeah, it feels like in recent years they've really keyed in on that production quality, where it's, you know, the tune's doing one thing and it's building in one way, and then boom, it shows you a completely different side for like a measure or two, and then flips back to like the normal sound of the tune. So another one with that here, and yeah, just I'm looking forward to the final track, which is Speak to Me. Again, I get it, people have different opinions about different Depeche Mode eras, and I've said before, I do have favorite songs and, you know, albums that I listen to more often than the other albums, but at the end of the day, I've been a Depeche Mode fan my whole life, and I'll take anything they can give. So, you know, if this ends up being the last album, I'm gonna, you know, view it in a very special way. If it ends up, if they continue to make music beyond this, we'll be lucky in that regard. So either way, big shout out to Depeche Mode, big shout out to all the people who've been on this journey, which, you know, I don't think it was the first synth pop, I think like the very first synth pop reaction I did was New Order, Blue Monday. I think that's right. But Depeche Mode started very early on, and, you know, some of the people who are still friends of the channel, you know, Nina in particular still shows up in a number of places, so big shout out to you. Yeah, really appreciate you guys being on this journey with me for so long, even though, again, despite knowing Depeche Mode for so long and enjoying their music so much, I have occasionally, you know, not remembered things correctly and so on. In any case, let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.